Okay. Good morning, everyone. So we have our task two. This is our task two meeting. It will not go on for long. I will try wrapping it up as soon as possible. So the second task, which you have been assigned or you will be assigned in the coming few minutes, would be a task on the artist-agent agreement. Now, artist-agent agreement is just a brief before I actually delve into the topic. um, Artist agent agreement, in brief, is the agreement between an artist. An artist can be anyone who is in the audio-visual scenario, like actors, musicians, videographers, and pop stars. You have like all of these people who have audio as well as video are called artists. um, in the broader spectrum, yeah, artists include even people who write, who people who um, make some form of content. They are also called artists. But for this specific scenario, we will keep it as artists are those people who are people who let's just draw the line at actors and musicians. So since and an agent is someone who will be representing you or who you will be represented by. Now, this particular artist agent agreement is very similar to the principal agent agreement, which comes under the Contract Act. It is a very similar agreement. Now, in principal agent contract, usually it is not written, but artist agent agreements are those which are, actually very important for the artist because if they get an agency to represent them, the agency does everything that they can to take advantage of these artists. But it is because of this artist agent agreement that a lot of artists are not as stressed out as other artists are who have not given a thought about the artist agent agreement. Now, okay, so basically, art and entertainment is a very dynamic space wherein the needs and wants of the society as a whole changes. It changes probably with every minute or in every hour or every movie or song that the particular person puts up. Now, it is to regulate those things that these artists actually hire agencies and agents to represent them on their behalf so that these people can analyze the market and these artists can actually focus on those aspects which these agencies ask them to. Now, this is it is more often than not, it's a professional support and it leads to formation of agreements between artists and agents, which outlines the terms and conditions of their partnership. Yes, Vaibhav.
Ma'am, could you please be a little slower in pace?
Okay, all right. Okay, so artist agent agreement is usually professional support, which so basically two people come together. The artist says, "I will pay you to do my work." Agent says, "Okay, I will do all the work for you." Now, all of these work basically include analyzing the market, analyzing the artist's performance, analyzing the terms and conditions of the particular agreement, the formation of basically the agreements and everything under that aspect. Now, like I already said, they usually enhance their reach, they secure opportunities, and they manage professional careers. These agencies or agents, they usually do all of those things. Now, it is a this artist agent agreement is a pivotal document which defines the terms and conditions of these partnerships. And both the parties must understand what the agreement basically entails before actually signing the agreement. Now, India, basically, specifically, it has a huge plethora of artists, right? We have Bollywood, we have down south, we have Tollywood, Collywood, Mollywood. We have all of these other. um, you know, broad. So usually the cinema space is basically divided on the basis of language. So any different language, they have a something, a prefix and a wood next to it. So we also have like the traditional art forms. We have classical dance, we have classical music, we have classical visual art. And then we have contemporary expressions as well. We have digital art, we have theater, we have indie music, we have movies, we have shows, we have series, and we have YouTube as well. Now, in this dynamic environment, like I already told you, we have classical as well as contemporary. Now, these artists often require expert guidance and representation to showcase their inherent talent and to effectively negotiate deals and secure opportunities. Now, artists also have to, like for example, if I am an actor and let's say Astha is the producer or the director for an upcoming movie, I have to approach Asta and say that, hey, I want to be a cast in your movie. Or Asta has to approach me and say, hey, I need you to be the cast in my movie. And then these two, just so that the artist is not, um, just so that the artist does not face any problem, they usually get the agency to do all the background work, like all the contracts, all the terms and conditions, all the recitals and everything is done by the agency. It is just that the actor is the face in front that they are like, the agency is like, okay, um, um, you go and at least show your face, the rest of it we'll do. That is how an artist agent agreement works. Now, there are certain key components of an artist agent agreement. The first one is the scope of representation. Now, in India specifically, the artist agent agreement outlines specific services that the agent provides, like securing gigs, securing, contracts, maintaining contracts, negotiating contracts, managing endorsements, managing partnership deals, managing everything and anything under the sun. Now, artists should ensure that the scope aligns with their career goals, and while agents commit to diligently representing the artist's interests. Now, the classic example is that of Taylor Swift, right? Taylor Swift was represented by a particular agency, and her career goals did not align with the agency, and they manipulated her, tortured her, is what she claimed. But on the other hand, it might have been that the she was not the terms and conditions of the artist agent agreement must have said. You never know. I have not seen the artist agent agreement. I have just seen Taylor Swift be very vocal about it. So sometimes these agencies usually take matters into their own hands and they push you and push you and push you until they can't push you anymore. And the same way the artists also, they will push the agency to a point where the agency has no option sometimes to take matters into their own hands and function accordingly. Secondly, we have territory. These agreements basically entail what territory this particular contract or this particular agency will represent a particular artist. Now, for example, we have Bollywood, right? In Bollywood, we let's take the example of Amitabh Bachchan because he's the, in my opinion, the one of the best actors that the Hindi cinema has gotten till date, or even better, Shah Rukh Khan. Let's take Shah Rukh Khan because he is someone like most of us have seen movies about. So Shah Rukh Khan is probably represented by an agency A. Now agency A and Shah Rukh Khan have a mutual must have a mutual contract stating where the particular agency must be representing Shah Rukh. For example, Shah Rukh Khan say in that particular agreement, it states that the this agency will represent me only in the areas of Mumbai, the areas of Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, all of the North Indian territories. Now, if that particular artist decides to come down south, what happens is that that particular agency will have no control over the particular artist. So the artist either mentions the country as a whole, or the artist basically, or the agency, or he has to hire a different agency for different kinds of cinemas that he's doing. So that is something we need to keep in mind. Now we have exclusive and non-exclusive representation. Now this is a um, very important thing in an artist-agent agreement. So the agreement specifically states that whether the artist is granting exclusive right to the agent or it is just for this particular contract. Now, for example, there is agency A, B, C, and D. If I want someone to represent me, it can either be A only. Agency A will do all of my backend work, regardless of where I go. Now, that needs to be mentioned in the contract. Now, non-exclusive agreements basically means that um, I have five agencies. I have one film that I'm working on. I will get all of these five agencies to collaborate and do all the work from. That's a non-exclusive agreement or non-exclusive representation. Exclusive representation, on the other hand, is I'm giving one agency to do all of the work, regardless of where it is and what it is. Then we have commission and compensation. Now, the commission structure is a crucial aspect. While there is no standard, it is common for agent to earn a percentage in the artist. Now, the agents usually earn a percentage out of the artist earning. Now, for example, I'm earning 100 rupees, and if the agreement or the artist agent agreement says that 10% of Preksha's total earnings, 10% of 100 rupees is 10 rupees, so 10 rupees goes to the sorry, the agency who's representing me. Now, clarity on this particular payment and the frequency at which the particular payments and commissions need to be paid are to be mentioned in the contract or in the agreement specifically. Now, again, like the commission and compensation is usually negotiated, renegotiated multiple times. The agency wants as much money as it can get. The Subsequently, the artist does not want to give out a lot of money, so they need to reach a common ground where they're like, okay, 10% is good enough, or 5% is good enough, or let's say 12% is good enough. Depending on the artist and agent's agreement, you need to be there needs to be mentioning of the commission which the commission and the compensation that the agency will get. Then then we have payments and expenses. Now the agreement should clearly articulate. Again, it's the same thing, how and when the agent is compensated. Additionally, any other expenses incurred must also be paid to the agent by the artist. Then we have tax implications. Again, the professional relationship leads to tax and how they will pay the tax or who will pay the tax, or whether it will be TDS, that is tax deduction at source, or once the artist pays to the agent, he will pay the tax. That depends on the mutual agreement between both of them. Then we have term and termination, where the agreement specifies the duration of that particular partnership, and it also states when it can be terminated. Now, termination clauses must be carefully drafted. There must be specific conditions under which either party, if me or in my example that I took, Asta, if me or Asta do something wrong for each other, like if I violate the terms of the contract, what are the implications or the complications or the consequences? In the same way, if I don't follow if Asta does not follow what is mentioned in the contract or in the agreement, what happens and how much is the compensation and how much and the termination clause specifies when the agreement will be terminated. Then we have confidentiality. Um, Now, any sensitive information between the agent and the artist must be kept under the sheet. It must be very confidential. Um, this is to maintain trust and to protect the artist's personal interest as well as professional interest. Now we come to the law aspect of it, where there is dispute resolution. Now, usually enforcement of these agreements are done through ADR. ADR includes arbitration, mediation, conciliation, negotiation, and sometimes even just sitting together and talking about it. Then we have the governing law. Now, the agreement must specifically define the governing law, which ensures that both the parties are subject to same jurisdiction. Now, if I get to represent if I want to get represented by a party, by an agency, which is probably, let's say, in UK. So me and the agency will come into contract saying that, okay, we will be governed by the laws of India, or the laws of the land of India, or we will be governed by the laws of the land of the United Kingdom. So all of that also need to be mentioned. Now, there are certain regulatory bodies, specifically in the music and film industry. We have the IPRS, that is the Indian Performing Rights Society, and we have the CBFC, which is the Central Board of Film Certification. Now, these are usually in the music and film industry. Um, they um, they basically are the bodies which um, um, actually, they are the bodies with C, which is um, if certain rights are violated, these are the bodies people usually approach first before actually going to the courts and using the ADR and all of that. Now, the usually the artist agent agreement, more often than not, there are certain legal frameworks which the artist as well as the agent needs to be familiar with. More often than not, it is the Arbitration Conciliation Act, it's the Copyright Act, Trademarks Act, and all of that. You basically need to be really good with your IPR. And the IPR basically includes copyright, trademark, patents, everything and everything else. And then moving on, there are certain, um, yeah. So basically, the okay, and then we have the conclusion basically. So what basically artist agent agreement says that it is dynamic, it is multifaceted, it mirrors the rich tapestry of the country's artistic heritage. Now, if the artist wants to elevate their careers, or if they want to really get good opportunities and good deals, they usually hire agencies or agents to represent them and for them to do their work. Now, finances, basically legalities, then you have representation, you have cultural sensitivities, you have um, all of that and everything else under the sun. And this collaboration propels not only individual careers, but also contributes to the diversity of the Indian heritage, or the Indian cultural heritage. Now, finally, coming to your task. The task is that you are a legal professional tasked with drafting an artist agent agreement for a rising independent musician. I have given you a name. You can obviously change it. Ria and her prospective agent GTM. Again, uh, let the agency's name be the same. You can change the name of the artist if you want. Now the instructions are you need to do the scope of representation, exclusive representation. You have the commission and compensation that you need to put forth. You have the terms and conditions of the agreement, the territory, the termination clause, the duties and obligations of each party, the confidentiality, the governing law, and the dispute resolution. Now, you need to take into consideration the aspects of musical industry, and you need to draft an artist agent agreement. All of the formats and everything that you need for this particular task will be sent to you by tomorrow afternoon. Because since this is a recording, it will take a time, it will take a while for it to go through, and I will be sending it to you. Is the format for the artist agent agreement would also be circulated in the group. The submission date would be next Saturday, and this time I'm not extending because last time you got more than a week, and still some of y'all have not submitted. The submission date is 16th 5 p.m. I will be closing the forms regardless of you know what the situation is. Unless you've already informed me in prior, your submissions will not be. Okay, thanks. I hope you have a great day.